Good morning. Greetings from southern Indiana to wherever you are. Nice to see y'all this morning. Um, and good morning to the folks on YouTube who I can't see, but I bow. And we are one more time giving Facebook Live a shot. I think I have solved the technical problem. Um, I was doing Facebook Live and then the stream would just like stop by itself after like 20 minutes. And I've been noodling around with it. So giving it one more try. Well, we'll keep at it. Anyway, glad you all are here. Um, hmm. We're going to do our usual meditation. I'm going to give a little guidance. I'm going to introduce a new tool that I have learned that I have found helpful for meditation. And uh, today I decided to talk about empathy because I think it's something missing from the general national dialogue. And I'll get into that a little more a little later. But I would like to talk about for a second. We're meditating, we're sitting here, um, and thoughts kind of like bubble up, you know, like out of the bottom of the percolator. And there's really nothing we can do about that. That's just kind of the way the mind works. And what we're working on is having a different relationship with that. And it's easy to fall into rejecting that, which is not the path. What we're talking about cultivating is awareness and noticing. And thoughts come up because they will. And the skill is learning to notice that as a process, but not go down the road into the content of whatever the thinking is. It takes practice, and it's a gentleness practice. And I say over and over again, it's a really good opportunity to come back to your breathing, remember you're doing the best you can, and continue. So I was participating in another sitting and talk. I watch the stream from the Insight Meditation Center in Redwood City most days. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning, my time, 7 o'clock in the morning out there in the West. And he suggested when we notice that we're thinking, say yes, just softly, quietly to yourself. Not yes to whatever you're thinking, yes to, oh, yes, I acknowledge that's happening. It's a way of consciously saying, oh, I see that. It kind of heads off all the, oh my God, I'm not doing it right stuff. It makes it easier to not get tangled up in whatever the thought content is. We may have to do this 12 to 14 times a minute. It's what I've heard referred to as the manual labor of meditation. It's okay. When you notice you've wandered off, just say yes. As a way of saying, oh, I see that. Come back to breathing. So, um, why don't we start with finding a meditation posture? And that would be relaxed but alert. If you're sitting upright, your spine is straight, there's kind of a natural curve to it. You're not like rigid, you're not like pulling in. your abs and side muscles to stay rigid. You're just sort of settling into a posture. You might want to rock back and forth just a little bit and then come to a center if that works for you. And then side to side just a little bit and let your body find its natural center of gravity. And gently close your eyes. And become aware. This is a process of becoming aware. Become aware of the touch points. Notice how your hands feel resting on wherever they're resting. The contact point. Notice your bottom on the cushion and your feet or your legs on the floor. Just settling into your body. And let your attention come to the body breathing. And let's start with a couple of long, slow, deep breaths, just to help come into the body. About 3/4. And as you exhale, just relax and soften your body. And let your breathing return to normal. But continue to relax and soften on the exhale, like you're breathing out whatever tension, whatever stress, whatever holding. Just being aware of your body breathing in whatever way feels most comfortable and natural. You may be aware of your belly or chest moving up and down, or you may focus on the air moving in and out of your nostrils, that feeling between your nose and your upper lip. Whatever works for you. Just resting your awareness and your intention and your attention on the body breathing. And if you can, if it works for you, noticing the body, from the inside out, rather than from the control tower above your eyes looking down, to the degree that you can, gently being with the body's experience of breathing. And if your mind wanders off, when your mind wanders off, it's okay. We meet that with gentleness. Just say, when you notice it, just say yes, as in saying to that part of yourself, yes, I see you. And then come back to your breathing. We're not rejecting our thinking mind. We're not rejecting our thought train or any part of ourselves. We're just acknowledging, yes, as in, I see you. And come back to the body breathing. Yes, I noticed that. I've wandered off thinking. Don't know how long I've been off there. Doesn't matter. Yes, I noticed that. I'm coming back to the breath. Yes, I noticed that. And in that moment, if you can, step back and notice who or what is observing and noticing all this. And notice the act of noticing.
Can you hand me one of those pillows?
Back hurting?
Hmm?
Back hurting?
No, just lazy.
And if you notice any noise or external distractions. That's okay. The world does that. Just notice hearing. If you're having some sort of internal response to that, just notice that. It's okay. And come back to your awareness of breathing. And as we come towards the end of this sitting, just say yes to whatever your experience is and has been of this meditation. And notice what you're experiencing in this moment. And let this meditation enable you to look out upon the world around you, into your household, into your neighbors, into your neighborhood and community, to the world around you, with kindness, with kind eyes and compassion. May it be that the benefits of this practice help us to open our hearts from a place of centeredness and self-compassion, to bring to the world our centeredness and self-compassion and kindness as it sort of radiates from us. May the benefits of this practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice and your kind attention. The Facebook feed crashed again, so apologies to anyone who is trying to watch on Facebook. My inner nerd has still not figured that out. I put the usual information in the chat window, how to find this Zoom meeting, if you want to pass that on to anybody, or if you just need to have it. The website for Indiana Insight Meditation, where after some more nerding around, these meditations and talks are being archived on the website. And the donation link if you feel so moved. So we witness a lot of suffering these days. All you have to do is pick up a newspaper. Anybody remember newspapers? Physical objects with like print that got on your hands. Turn on the television, people are talking about, the pandemic is surging again. There's tremendous suffering that we are witnessing in Afghanistan and in Haiti. Mass shootings. Being aware that I could be shot at the supermarket. It's easy to get lost in all of this. And somebody close to me is just decided not to get vaccinated, and now other members of that family are sick. And my first thought, I got angry. I felt angry. I didn't deliver that, but I felt angry, and I have felt angry about this issue and a little overwhelmed by what's going on. And I remembered something. This is not a political speech or a political statement. When Donald Trump got elected, there was a lot of anxiety in a lot of quarters. And the Monday after that, Donald Rothberg, who is one of the spirit rock teachers who's originally from Louisville, came and gave a Dharma talk in Louisville. And I went. I've known Donald for years and years and years. And he talked about, and he acknowledged all this going on and decided to talk about empathy. And the whole room just settled. Because that really is the part that's missing from our national dialogue. Is it possible to look upon this and see, oh, these people are suffering, and this is what that looks like? It's easy to look out at the world these days and see and feel like we're witnessing selfishness and greed, and it's easy to get discouraged. We seem to be living in this sort of modern winner-take-all sort of culture centered around wealth and power and getting what I want and make sure you're not taking something away from me. And it's easy to experience despair and frustration over the general powerlessness that we have in these situations. But we can always begin simply by recognizing that our fear-based reactivity is a coping mechanism, and it is only one of 88 possibilities. And it is not in itself a solution. It might make us feel a little righteous from an ego point of view. But what if what's really called for here is empathy and compassion? These people are suffering. This is what that looks like. My friend who's not getting vaccinated is afraid of the vaccine. It doesn't matter what the reasons are. This is his reality. How do I meet that? Step out of my own frustration. The Dalai Lama had something to say about this. He said, from my own limited experience, I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. Ultimately, the reason why love and compassion bring the greatest happiness is simply that our nature cherishes them above all else. The need for love lies at our very foundation of human experience and human existence. It results from the profound interdependence we all share with one another. So we're all in this together. Whether you agree with me or not, whether your vision of how to manage and navigate this chaotic world fits into mine or not. And from there, we can start by cultivating empathy and compassion. And empathy, I define it as the capacity to feel what another person is feeling. Not simply like as an observer, but not an observer making an assessment, but actually experiencing similar feelings, to witness your suffering and resonate. The difficulty with that is that empathy requires that we be willing to look at our experience of our own pain and then use that as a lens through which we can genuinely witness others' suffering. Like the way the violin string resonates next to the other one. We resonate with the energy and the vibration of other people, difficult though it is. And it can be a double-edged sword. Witnessing another person's pain can trigger our own unhealed wounds, leading us to meet that with some form of aversion, with anger or judgmentalism or revulsion, because those things remove us. We cringe, but then there's something that can come after that. First, we accept that we're cringing. You know, one of the spiritual traps is when we're feeling discompassionate to then deliver this, to think that we're doing it wrong and then deliver that discompassion to ourselves. Rather than recognizing that witnessing the suffering of others is very hard and is going to trigger our stuff, and we're going to want to turn away. And we may fall into all those myriad ways that we turn away through judgment or anger or stay away from me, don't talk to me. So what if we just breathe into that? Breathe into our own suffering and witness others' pain as some version of this is what this person may be feeling. Bear witness. It's easy to get frustrated with the anti-vaxxers and the anti-maskers and the people who are pretending COVID doesn't exist, and harder to recognize that these people feel like something important is being taken away from them. And they're frightened. They're suffering. And this is what that looks like. What we're actually witnessing is another form of dukkha. The first noble truth that we are all experiencing suffering. And then to contemplate, now what? The ability to be with suffering, ours and other persons, without resentment, blame, and fear, and reactivity, and other survival responses, is a skill. We develop it. Nobody walks out of a talk like this and just goes there, or maybe some do, but I'm not one of them. We notice. We say yes to our experience of that. We say yes to our experience of feeling repelled, of feeling angry, of feeling hurt, of feeling judgmental. We say yes, not yes to being that, but yes to, oh, I acknowledge that. I see that. Because only when we embrace ourselves can we make changes. We may go to fight, flight, freeze. That's okay. We notice that. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to respond in some way. I'm not going to try to talk my friend into being different. This is his path. It's not for me to judge. Doesn't even mean that a response is called for. In that ping-ponging back and forth that we do between attachment and aversion, when we meet things with aversion, we naturally go to, I have to do something about this to make it stop. Sometimes we can't. So what we can do is practice compassionate acceptance. I accept that I'm having this experience. I accept that you're having this experience. Somewhere in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. It used to be on page 449, and then they moved it, so I can't find it. Acceptance. I accept that you have a different worldview than I do. I accept that you are struggling and meeting that struggle in a different way than I do and that I would. I accept my own difficulty accepting that. Which leads us to something that I always talk about, self-compassion. Empathy is difficult. Empathy calls us to recognize our own pain and then see it reflected back to us. This is why mindfulness is important. In mindfulness, we are training our mind and we are training ourselves to notice when we're having these experiences and notice the dialogue that we are creating around them, or the monologue that we are creating around them. I'm supposed to be accepting and compassionate. That's what my monologue is telling me. Yet I'm angry at this thing. So my monologue is saying, you're not very good at this. You're coming up short. You're a bad meditator and you don't get the Dharma. No precious human rebirth for you. Mindfulness helps me realize, again, that my experience is in two parts. Here's what happens, is here's what we tell ourselves about what happens. And once I know that, I can choose gentleness on this side anytime. So, empathy is a challenge. And it's a hard one. When I was early in my therapy career, I was in a therapy group for adult child molesters. That's a challenge. It took me some months to get over just wanting to throw a chair at somebody. But part of the training in that group was helping these folks develop empathy for the people they had harmed. And that's one of the places I've learned that's a very tall order. To meet someone's suffering and be open to it and see it and say, I see you, instead of, oh my God, get away from me. When the pain of others reflects our wounds, it turns out to be an opportunity for healing. We can look at that and say, oh, we're all in this together. So I challenge you to meet the challenge. And do so, if you decide to, with kindness and gentleness towards yourself. So that's all I got today. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Very relevant and appreciated talk.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for leading this meditation, Ken. I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry I didn't hear that.
I wanted to just thank you for facilitating this meditation.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm having fun. And it's always good to see y'all. Okay, I am here on the 29th. The following Sunday, I will be on retreat. Muriel, say hi, Muriel. Will be leading this group. She's a really good teacher and a really cool person and has something to say. So, thank you. Be good to yourselves.